tuned into Breaking the Mask of Depression with your host, Diva with Depression.
Hey guys, welcome to Breaking the Mask of Depression with me, your host, the Diva with Depression. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! I hope you guys had a great holiday season. I hope that everything was peaceful or semi-peaceful, listen, we can't have everything all of the time, right? So I hope that you had the holiday season that you deserved, which I'm sure is the best. Mine was a little, off. I'm an empty nester, so I don't get to always be with my babies on the holidays. But I think this is the first holiday that we really were, like everybody was scattered in different states. So, it was kind of sad, but we made the best of it. I mean, hey, FaceTime via FaceTime Christmas, right? So that's what we did. Guys, we are 27 episodes in. Could you believe it? I can't believe it. I really, really can't believe it. Before I started recording, I had to count the episodes twice because I didn't believe that I really recorded 27 episodes. But I did. And you and Jesus are the only things that get me through these episodes because y'all know how my depression is set up. That monster can act up anytime, any place, anywhere, and we may or may not get an episode. We may or may not get anything out of me. So I thank you guys so much. I'm truly, truly grateful. Really, I truly am. Hopefully from this point on, this point and maybe about 8 or so episodes, I will get to try some new forms, bringing on a guest or two and maybe getting a little bit deeper into some of the things that I struggle with. And I know that many of you struggle with too. My job is to bring it to light, right? So, hopefully I will bring more information to you, just more to help you, more to let you know that you're not alone, because you're not. There are so many of us, like I say, every single episode. So listen, I don't have one single subject today. I really, really just came on, number one, to say thank you, to say Happy New Year, but I wanted to touch on a few topics and then let y'all go. Okay? So the first one was racism. Now, most of you have at this point seen the Tyre Nichols video or heard about the case. And, for us, that's just, sadly, it's just an everyday occurrence pretty much with us. And it just bugs me that, they do all of this sensationalizing and they play these videos for you 24 hours a day. And then they get upset when you react. Really, do you expect me not to be human? Do you expect me not to react? Or, you just keep taking our people away from us in front of our face and you don't want us to react. That's ridiculous. But, this is the world that we live in, and racism is a mental health issue. And racism is a mental health crisis, because how would you feel after watching a video or, being witness to it, in front of your face? I know that there are some situations that I've seen throughout the years that really, really piss me off because you pretty much have to just stay quiet to make it home, and it's just every day we're on alert, the corporate bullshit, the store bullshit, the driving bullshit, just being in our own homes. I mean, really, like 2 or 3 people within the past couple of years have been murdered in their own home. Like, really? And 26 hours a day, 8 days a week. You know, we're subjected to this, and it's okay if you react. It's okay if it breaks you down. It's okay. You know, like, we are human. Our feelings are valid, and these are very, very serious issues. You know, we're all brothers and sisters. So, you know, when one is hurting, everyone is hurting. And witnessing your brothers and sisters losing their lives for no reason is just heartbreaking. So I want you to know that it's okay to feel that way. If you can, you know, when these situations occur, talk it out. You know, talk to a family member, a friend, professional, write it out, you know, just so those feelings don't just stay stored up and then you're angry and you go out and, you know, you just are a kettle, you know, waiting to blow. We don't want that. So find someone to talk to, journal. Hey, you can even record on your phone, talk to yourself and record on your phone. Listen, you know, we have to do what we have to do. You know, I'm with you guys. You know that I'm with you, and it hurts me. And I know that it hurts you. So even if you have to message me, you know, you do that. I don't want to hear of anybody else getting hurt because they're hurting. So the next thing that I want to talk about is suicide awareness and suicidal thoughts. Now, of course, we had another loss in the community with DJ Twitch, and it just, you know, I wasn't a regular watcher. You know, my daughter said that they used to watch them every day, him and his wife dance. I only knew him from the Ellen Show. I had no idea that he had this great body of work and that, you know, he touched so many lives. I know that when I watched the Ellen Show, which after the first season wasn't pretty much, but I know that this guy I used to always say, this guy has got a smile that can light up the world. Because every time she said his name, that's all you saw was his magnificent smile. And so, of course, this is another blow to our community to lose such a great man, and for his wife to lose a great husband, and for his children to lose a great father. And that completely broke my heart, because once again, you have situations where people are like, really? Him? He had so much going on. He had this accomplishment. He had this much money. Why would he do something like that? And I get pissed off again. As you can see, I stay pissed off for a long time, because that has to stop being our reaction. That has to stop being the way that we handle things. And when I say we, not me, but that you can't just blow it off. You know, money does not buy happiness. You know, the depression monster does not give a fuck about how much money you got in the bank. You know, it doesn't. These mental illness is a disease, and it can strike anyone at any time. And as I've shared with you many times, the person with the biggest smile is hurting the most. And in this case, that was true. And in many cases, that was true. You know, there are people that I'm sure if something happened to me tomorrow would say, well, she never wrote that on social media, or she never, you know, shared this, or she had this and the podcast and all that. But you don't know my whole life just based off of those interactions. And people get upset with me because I share, you know, some of these dark topics. And Of course, your loved ones don't want to know that, you're in a space where suicide is a thought, but it is reality. And just because you have suicidal thoughts does not mean that you're going to take suicidal action. But it is cause for you to pay closer attention to your loved ones. Our children, our babies are leaving us at a great rate. They are going to find peace on their own, and we have to stop that. We have to start listening. We have to put our generational bullshit aside. We have to open up our ears. We have to put religion aside. We have to put all of that shit aside and listen to what people are saying. It is dark. Our lives are dark. I live in fucking dark all day, every day. And there are still people, you see, I'm on a podcast, I write, there are still people around me that do not want to hear what I have to say. They don't really want to hear how I'm feeling. Because if they listen to how I'm feeling, then maybe they would have to address how they're feeling, or hey, maybe they'll have to address their role in how I'm feeling. But in any case, my feelings are valid and your feelings are valid. And, in spite of all this shit, going on, we're still here, so that says a lot for us. I don't pat myself on the back much, but that says a lot for us. That means that we're fighting and we're staying and we're doing the work. And I just want you to know that I want you to just keep staying. I want you to keep doing the work. Your family needs you. Your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your children. It's what they say to me. I go to therapy every single week, and I'm bawling. My eyes are red, and it just doesn't seem like it gets any better. I'm doing this every single week. I'm so tired. I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of the darkness. I'm tired of, the chronic illness, the pain that, for physical illnesses. I'm tired, but I always find a little piece of something to get me going the next day. And I want you to find your little piece of something. And, I always share that my kids are the reason why I keep going. They are the reason why I'm alive today. But I'm not going to continue to put that burden on them, because that's a lot for someone else to bear, to think that your life is in their hands. So I want you to find a little piece of something. If it's an obligation to a cause, obligation to a friend, a job that you love, a hobby that you love, whatever that little piece of something is, and it could be as simple as going from your bedroom to your living room. That's it. I go from my bedroom to my living room, and the first thing I have to do is open up the blinds. And what made me start opening up the blinds is my plants. I strategically placed my plants there. So I had to open up the blinds for the plants to get some light. So whatever it is, I want you to find it, color, dance, sing, change your hairstyle, anything that you can find that will make that little sliver, that will make you think twice about finding peace on your own. I want you to do that. And I don't give a damn what anybody says. You do whatever the hell you feel like doing is going to help you, because you're the only one that matters, and that's it. So if people don't like the way you're dealing with it, tell them to buzz off. I know that it looks bleak sometimes, I know because I'm there. So stay with me. I want you to reach out to me. You know, people inbox me on Instagram or Facebook, or heck, I'm even, got a few videos on TikTok now. But, if it's just as simple as sending me a note in my inbox, I do respond. And if you need resources, always let me know, because I will find them for you. My last thing that I'm going to talk about now is medical racism. And I know that I have touched on this 1 or 2 times, but I feel like I have to talk about it again, because this shit seems to be getting out of control. And I'm not going to go into deep about what happened to me personally. I'm going to try to keep it general, but I want to talk about it because so many of us are struggling with illnesses. We have to go back and forth to doctors, to specialists, and to different types of appointments, and we need to be treated like we're human beings. And if they're not treating us like we're humans, then they need to go. We need to start calling them out. And that's part of some of the things that I've been going through at the practice that I go to. I'm a chunky black woman, and so I've got all of those things working against me as far as, the race is concerned. So people feel like they can say whatever they want and get away with it. And so the first time that I had to call a doctor out was when, I'm explaining my symptoms to her, and her immediate answer is, well, how's the weight loss coming along? Well, bitch, the weight loss is coming along just fine, but that has nothing to do with my hair falling out or, the pain in my elbow. Because I told you guys that one time when I had surgery on my elbow, the doctor said that, my weight was the reason why my elbow was hurting. And so that was the first time I said something. And this final time was a bit more intense, because the doctor actually lied. And not only did she lie, she lied on my records. And so when I went in to check the notes, the summary for my visit, I saw that she had listed a number of lies. And I was furious, because everything leading up to this one appointment was already stressful. I had one of the nurses say to me, well, we know that you have a high tolerance for pain. It pissed me off, and so then when this happened, it just blew me away. And I sat on it for a little while, because I didn't want to act like I was reacting off or wrong. But then when I finally decided that I was going to say something, and I called the practice, and they're like, oh, just email this place, because we don't have the information for the director here. And so my thing was, well, if you're not going to listen to me, and if you're not going to give me the information, then I have to contact whoever I got to contact. And it just so happens that the email address that I found was for the corporate headquarters somewhere or whatever. That is the only way that I got the ball rolling on this problem being taken care of. And so I want you to understand that you don't have to be treated any kind of way. If you're in pain, you're in pain. If your, eyesight is not right, your eyesight is not right. And no one has the right to tell you that you don't know what you're talking about. I've been having a problem for over a year, and it wasn't even solved until this past October, because the symptoms were, there was nothing, coming up for the symptoms that I was having. And the symptoms were outside of the mental illness. Like I know that if I get migraines, sometimes the stress from when the depression causes the migraine. But in this case, they didn't match up. And so I was diagnosed with something that has, there's no treatment, and so, but I had to go through a year of specialists and other doctors outside of my primary care physician. And even though my primary care physician, she was helpful, but I can tell that she wasn't keen on, or she wasn't really accepting my illness, my symptoms. And so what I want you to do is, if you go to an appointment, a doctor, a specialist, make sure that you are treated correctly. If you're not, report it. If you have access, because I think everybody has access to these portals now, make sure that you check the portal after every visit and check your summary. Check what the doctor is writing, because I think that they think that we're stupid. I think that this heifer really thought that she was going to get away with it. Like, I wasn't going to go in and check my notes, the notes that she wrote. And you know what? Years ago, I probably wouldn't have. But after everything that I've been through, and because I'm the only one that really has to keep on top of my health, I check my summary and my notes after every visit. So I want you to do that. And if you don't get any reaction or any response from your doctor or the practice that you're going to, then go to corporate. Go to the Better Business Bureau. Go to, hell, if you got to go to the news stations. Do whatever you have to do to bring attention to your issue. And make sure that it's taken care of. And I know that it's hard because, who wants to admit that they, are overweight? Who wants to admit that their eyesight is bad? Who wants to admit that, there's pain, every time they stand up? None of us want to admit that, but it's the reality that these are issues that we have, and we have to make sure that we are treated with respect, the way that they would treat everybody else. And so if you don't feel, let me tell you a story. And I know I said that I wasn't going to hold you, but let me tell you a story that I read, and I'm just going to paraphrase that. This EMT worker, they had a call to a house up for an elderly Black lady, and she was hesitant to leave with them. And then when she got in the ambulance, she asked the EMT worker if she can do her hair. And the EMT worker said that she was a little taken aback, like, she's sick. Why is she worried about her hair? And the woman said, they treat me differently when my hair is not done. Okay. So here's this woman having chest pains, possibly a heart attack, and she was worried about how her do looked going into the hospital. What kind of shit is that? So we have to fight, and if you can't fight, then find somebody that will fight. Find a family member that likes to write letters. I have a couple of those in my family. Find a family member that likes to, get the process rolling on things like that. Maybe a legal aid in your family, or even not. They have legal aid in every state if that's what it comes to. But make sure that you're taken care of and that you're treated with respect. So that's it. As I said in the beginning, I just came on just to chat with you guys. I wanted to hit on those topics because those are important topics. And I wanted you to be aware of what's going on, and I want us to keep being treated with respect and taken care of. So, thank you guys so much, like I said before, for 27 episodes. And I look forward to many, many more with you guys. Listen, I always leave you with this. Instagram, Facebook, email, All of those things are on my website, divawithdepression.com. Reach out if you need to. If you need resources, there's a bunch of them on my website, but if you can't find it, I have more. You know, I work on a helpline every day, so I have a list of resources that you may not see on my web page. So please, thank you guys. Thank you to Illumination Media for all their tech stuff. You can go follow them on Instagram and Facebook also. And if you need some techie stuff done, reach out and they will be happy to help you. I look forward to chatting with you guys later. Take care and be well.